He was just bored, scrolling, clicking. Then he found this: 6,764 structures, hidden for 1,000 years. A lost civilization. On Google. You could have found it. October 2024, PhD student, free data, lost Maya city. This is Valeriana, and it changes everything. Let's go. The discovery. Luke Auld Thomas, grad student at Tulane University, October 2024. He's supposed to be working on his dissertation. Instead, he's browsing through lidar data that Mexico released for environmental surveys. Lidar, light detection and ranging. Lasers shot from planes that penetrate jungle canopy. They map what's underneath the Yucatan Peninsula, Campeche, Mexico. Dense rainforest, the kind where you can't see 5 feet ahead. Luke opens the files, starts scrolling. Then he sees it. Geometric patterns, straight lines, raised platforms, pyramids, plazas, causeways, an entire city. 16.6 square kilometers, over 6,000 structures. Population estimate, 30,000 to 50,000 people. This wasn't some village. This was a major urban center, the size of a modern mid-sized city. And nobody knew it existed. They named it Valeriana, after a nearby lagoon. Here's the insane part. Traditional archaeology in this terrain, brutal. You're hacking through dense jungle with machetes for months, dealing with venomous snakes, jaguars, malaria-carrying mosquitoes. The heat is extreme. The terrain is so rough it takes hours to travel just a few hundred meters. And most of the time, you're literally walking over ancient structures without even knowing it. They're covered in centuries of jungle growth, trees growing through temples, vines covering pyramids, everything hidden under layers of vegetation. A typical archaeological survey in jungle like this might cover a few square kilometers over an entire field season. That's months of work, thousands of dollars in funding, teams of researchers risking their lives. Cost? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Time? Years, maybe decades to map an area this size. Luke's discovery? One afternoon. $0. From his office, drinking coffee. And here's what makes this wild. The data was public. Anyone could access it. You, me, anyone with internet. Mexican government database. Free. Available. Just sitting there. The data had been collected for environmental monitoring, studying deforestation patterns, tracking ecological changes. Nobody thought to look for ancient cities. But Luke did. You could have found this lost city. Right now, there might be hundreds more hiding in public data, waiting for someone curious enough to look. What they found. Let me take you to Valeriana, year 600 AD. You're walking on a raised causeway, stone road elevated above the jungle. These connected the entire city like ancient highways. The pyramids rise ahead, limestone gleaming white in the tropical sun, painted red and blue with natural pigments. The central plaza, massive, big enough to hold thousands of people gathering here for ceremonies and markets. Temple platforms surrounding you, priests performing ceremonies on top, smoke from copal incense rising into the sky. You hear distant drums and flutes playing, people chanting. The ball court, the famous Maya ball game, players trying to get a heavy rubber ball through stone hoops mounted high on the walls. No hands allowed, only hips, chest, knees. These weren't just games, they were religious rituals, sacred contests, sometimes ending in human sacrifice. The losing team captain might lose his head, literally. Beyond the ceremonial center, the residential neighborhoods. Stone platforms supporting houses of wood and thatch, multiple family compounds. The wealthy lived in larger compounds near the city center, multiple rooms, private courtyards, decorated facades. Regular people lived in smaller houses on the outskirts, single-room structures, simpler construction. But here's where Maya engineering really blows your mind. Water management. There are no rivers here, no lakes, no natural water sources in this part of the Yucatan. The peninsula is essentially a giant limestone shelf.
Rain falls and immediately drains through the porous rock. Underground rivers run deep below the surface, so the Maya had to engineer elaborate systems to capture every single drop of rain. They built artificial reservoirs, large depressions lined with plaster to prevent water from seeping away. They created catchment systems on building roofs and plazas, channels directing rainwater into storage tanks, filtration systems using layers of sand and gravel to clean the water. Some reservoirs even show evidence of zeolite, a natural volcanic mineral that purifies water by trapping impurities. They invented water filtration 1,500 years ago. At its peak, around 600 to 800 AD, Valeriana was absolutely alive. The markets would have been incredible. Traders coming from all over Mesoamerica, jade from the Motagua Valley, greenstone carved into jewelry and ceremonial objects, obsidian from the highlands, volcanic glass sharper than modern steel, used for knives, spear points, cutting tools, cacao from the coastal regions. Chocolate was currency, literally. You could buy things with cacao beans. Exotic feathers from tropical birds. Quetzal feathers worth more than gold, used in royal headdresses. Pottery from different regions. Each area had distinctive styles. Artisans carving stone monuments. Scribes painting books on bark paper. Musicians performing. Farmers bringing in corn, beans, and squash from surrounding fields. 30,000 people, maybe 50,000, a true metropolis for its time. Then, around 900 AD, everyone left. The Maya collapse, one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. Within generations, the jungle swallowed Valeriana whole. The plazas became forest floors. The pyramids became hills covered in trees. The causeways disappeared under centuries of plant growth. Forgotten, lost, hidden. For over 1,000 years, 10 centuries of silence. Until October 2024. Until Luke looked at the right piece of data at the right time. Why? This is insane. Traditional survey of this area? Let's break down what that would actually involve. First, you need funding. Grants from universities or archaeological foundations. That alone can take years to secure. Then you assemble a team. Archaeologists, surveyors, local guides, support staff, maybe 20 people minimum. You need equipment. Machetes, GPS units, surveying tools, camping gear, first aid supplies, communication equipment. Then you actually go into the field. 6 months in the jungle, living in tents, dealing with the weather, the bugs, the animals, the isolation. Every day you're cutting through dense vegetation, mapping what you find, taking notes, photographs, measurements. And you still might miss things. Structures hidden under the canopy, features obscured by vegetation. Cost? $500,000 to $1 million, easily. Time to thoroughly map this area? 5 to 10 years minimum. Maybe longer. Luke's method? One afternoon, $0 from an air-conditioned office. He mapped in hours what would take years. This is what technology is doing to archaeology. It's not replacing archaeologists, it's giving them superpowers. Think about it. Archaeologists used to spend entire careers searching for sites. Now they can find dozens in a day. They used to map sites by hand, one structure at a time. Now they can see entire cities at once. They used to wonder where to dig. Now they know exactly where to dig. No more searching blindly, no more wasting time on empty jungle. They can focus their efforts on actual sites.
And Valeriana isn't alone. 2024 was an absolutely massive year for Maya discoveries. In Guatemala, at a site called Xochquitum, archaeologists discovered a Maya king's tomb. Inside was a jade mosaic mask that had been shattered into 33 pieces over the centuries. They painstakingly reassembled it to reveal the face of an ancient king who ruled over 1,500 years ago. At Tikal, Guatemala's largest and most famous archaeological site, researchers discovered the city was 4 times bigger than previously thought. Massive defensive walls that archaeologists had walked over for decades without realizing what they were. New pyramids, new residential areas, entire neighborhoods nobody knew existed at one of the most studied sites in the Maya world. That's how much we still don't know. Here's the thing that keeps me up at night. LiDAR surveys have only covered about 10% of the ancient Maya region. Just 10%, 1/10. That means 90% of the ancient Maya world is still unexplored, still hidden under the jungle, still waiting to be discovered. Hundreds of cities, thousands of individual sites, millions of structures, all still out there. This is just the beginning. We're living through a golden age of archaeological discovery. Smash subscribe. We're covering more lost cities as they're discovered. Drop a like if this is blowing your mind. Comment, what lost civilization should we cover next? The mystery. But here's what haunts me about Valeriana and cities like it. We know what it was. We can see the structures, map the layout, understand the engineering. We know how it worked. The water systems, the agriculture, the social organization. But we still don't know why everyone left. The Maya collapse is one of the great unsolved mysteries of archaeology. Around 900 AD, something catastrophic happened. Within just 100 years, the entire southern Maya lowland civilization collapsed. Cities that had thrived for centuries, empty, abandoned, left to the jungle. Populations that numbered in the millions, gone, dead or migrated away. An entire civilization that had lasted over 1,000 years, finished. What could cause that? What could bring down one of the most advanced civilizations in the ancient world? Theories abound. Drought and climate change are the leading candidates. Tree ring data and lake sediment cores show that the Maya region experienced a series of severe droughts between 800 and 900 AD, some lasting decades, the worst droughts in thousands of years. But it wasn't just drought. There's evidence of warfare, increased violence between city-states, competition for dwindling resources. Deforestation played a role. The Maya cut down huge areas of forest for agriculture and construction. This altered local rainfall patterns, made droughts worse. Environmental degradation, soil erosion, loss of agricultural productivity, political instability, the breakdown of trade networks, economic collapse, disease, famine, social unrest. Probably all of these factors combined. A perfect storm of problems that the Maya civilization couldn't overcome. But Valeriana specifically makes me think about water. This city was built in an area with absolutely no natural water sources. Everything depended on capturing rainwater. Imagine living there during the Great Drought. Year after year, the rains don't come, or they come late, or not enough. The reservoirs start running low, then running dry. The crops fail, first one season, then the next, then year after year. You're rationing water, digging deeper into the reservoirs, finding only mud. The priests perform more ceremonies, more sacrifices to the rain gods. It doesn't work. Your children are hangry, thirsty, getting sick. People start leaving, first a few families, then more, then entire neighborhoods. The markets grow quiet, the plazas empty, the ceremonies stop. Imagine being one of the last people in Valeriana. You're standing in the great plaza where thousands once gathered. Now it's almost empty. Your ancestors built this magnificent city. They lived here for centuries, generations upon generations, but you can't stay. There's no water, no food, no future here. So you pack what you can carry, you take one last look at the pyramids, the temples, the home you've always known, and you walk away. Into the jungle, towards somewhere, anywhere, with water. You never come back. Your children never come back. Within one generation, the jungle reclaims everything. The plazas become forest floors, the pyramids become hills, the causeways disappear under vegetation. The city is forgotten, lost, hidden. The Maya were one of the most advanced civilizations of their time. Sophisticated agriculture, complex mathematics, including the concept of zero, detailed astronomical observations, more accurate than the Europeans had, writing system, engineering that rivals anything built in the ancient world, and climate change brought them down. Before you think that could never happen to us, remember that. Remember Valeriana. But here's the beautiful thing about discoveries like Valeriana. These cities aren't lost anymore. Their stories aren't forgotten. Every discovery adds another piece to the puzzle. helps us understand this incredible civilization. We're piecing together human history, one discovery at a time. And the tools we have now? This is just the start. AI can now analyze lidar data automatically, finding patterns faster than any human could, identifying structures we might miss. Satellite imagery is improving every year. Higher resolution, new types of sensors, different wavelengths revealing hidden features. Ground-penetrating radar that can see underground without digging. Drones with advanced sensors mapping sites from the air. The technology keeps getting better, faster, more accessible. Lost cities are everywhere, still waiting to be discovered. And here's the crazy part. The data is free, public, accessible to anyone. Right now, today, you could open these databases, start looking through lidar scans, satellite images. You could see something everyone else missed. Luke Al Thomas wasn't some genius with special skills. He was a grad student, procrastinating, curious. He looked at data that thousands of other people had access to, and he found a lost civilization. If he can do it, anyone can. Maybe even you. Lost for 1,000 years, found in one afternoon. What are you waiting for? Subscribe for more lost civilizations. Watch next.